Right, hi everyone. This is for all you watercolour lovers out there. So a couple of weeks ago we did the mushroom image, which came out really well. And everyone used different methods and things. On my one, I use masking fluid, but whenever I take the masking fluid off, it looks really harsh and a bit too white. So you can see it, especially underneath there. They should be in shadow really. So what I do, I like to add a little bit of shadow, and usually a really light tone, just to knock it back a bit. So I've already done probably this half of the mushroom over here. I've put some on already, but this I haven't done. So in my palette, if I bring this over, so I've got this palette going with just some colours. So I've got a little bit of yellow ochre over here, and over here with my darks, I've just grabbed a little bit of the Payne's Grey and just mixed a bit together for this, I don't know what colour you'd call that, say a warm grey, but you can use any kind of really light tone. You can use any of your earth colours, any of your browns, but just use it really lightly. So if I start under here for you, hopefully you can see. And then when you're painting, try not to do a straight line across. Can you see my paintbrush is actually going up and down, kind of a knobbly effect. So if I was to do a complete round sweep, it wouldn't look very natural. It'd look too fake. So that's why I go up and down, working my way across. And it just takes off that harshness of the white, makes it look a little bit more realistic. And you can see my brush, let's pick up a bit more paint. You can see my brush just dabbing at these. And immediately it looks so much nicer. I don't know if you can see the difference in between this side and this side now. Let's fill in those. There we go. Right, I'm going to carry on, and then we'll get to adding some better contrast with some darker shadows down the bottom here. So while we're all housebound, we're going to be looking at our paintings to see if we can change any bits. So coming back to my mushrooms, I can see in my stalks that really there should be a bit of a stronger shadow here, even a little bit there, and possibly a bit there. And there's another bit here. I don't know if you can see that. I've not quite gone up to the edge with red along there. And then along here, there's some bits missing. So I'm just going to start to fill these bits in. So have a look at all your images. If there's any extra shadows you want to add, to do them on a painting that's already dried, that you've worked on a few weeks ago, all you need to do is, with clean wet water, just drag it over the area that you want to increase, and then get your paints, the colour that you want on your paintbrush. I'm just mixing up a bit of dark brown, so I've got some dark burnt umber. And I'm blotting it in, and where it's already wet, it will softly blend in. And then down here, so that was one way of doing it, wet into wet. This one I'm going to drag, that's quite nice. And then over here, this is more grey over here, so I'm going to pick up some Payne's Grey from over there and do a similar thing, just do a dry drag. Oops, and this is where, never be afraid to use your fingers as well. So where it's gone a bit blotchy, I'm going to just blend that out. That's quite a nice effect, I like that actually. I'm going to add a little bit, still not happy with this, it needs to go a bit darker. There we go. So you can either do the wet in wet or the dry brush, and I think for the mushrooms I'm going to wait for that to dry and then do a dry brush over the top. Right, any edges then, I've got a little bit of a halo going on over here, so I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to wet that little bit of area there. Oh look, actually it's blending in with the paint around it. So I'm going to leave that, actually no, I'm going to just grab a little bit more red and blend that in. That looks a lot more natural. And then over here I've got a bit of a slight edge as well. So let's get, so again with my Payne's Grey, go. So I haven't got any weird halo going on anymore. And then any other bits that you see in your paintings that just need blending out. There we go. And now, if you work at the paper just a little bit, it will blend in. There's a little bit there as well. You can give in. Here we go. That's looking a lot better. Right, the last thing I wanted to show you was I'm going to put a darker contrast shadow here. So I've just mixed up, this was the colour that we last used in class for our street lamps. If I let me just grab that. That was the street lamp that I did in class, and I was loving, because there was Indian red in that, I was mixing that with my ultramarine blue and even the Payne's grey to make this really nice dark colour. So what I've done, because looking at my picture, because I've got the nice warm red of the mushrooms, and then I've got a lot of Payne's grey, I thought we could have a bit of a warmer shadow, so that's why I've mixed it up again. So again, just in my palette, I've got the Indian red and the Payne's grey mixed together there to give me this kind of warm dark shadow colour. So if I put that back down there, and then what I was going to do, so I've just loaded up, I've got this is a number 4, it's a round brush, which is a rosemary, which means it's quite soft. So let me actually try and get some of that off my brush first, because I don't want too much paint on there. And what I'm going to try and do, can you see how I'm holding my brush? I'm holding it quite horizontal, so that if I hold my paper, I'm going to be quite loose with it. Yeah, I'm getting a really nice texture there. That's what I was after. And then as the paint, did you see that as the paint, it's really thick there, right? And then it starts to disappear on your brush. So that's when you get these nice texture coming in. And then the other thing that I'm going to grab, actually, I'm going to grab my rigger brush and just wet it to bring the hairs all together. And then if I dip that in the same mixture, and I'm going to bring some of these grasses in. Going across, there we go. And then can you see I've got some coming this way, some going the other way. So you always, whenever you're painting anything natural, always think about the regularity of it. You never want it all going in the same direction, otherwise it just looks a bit strange. And then where you have got some, like here, I've got some down here, they're sprouting out from nowhere, so I'm just gonna give them somewhere to come from. Shoot now, this is thing, I'm going to add some really fine ones coming up. And some coming up and then coming down. Likewise, blend that in. Might even have some coming off at the sides there. For those pine needles on the forest floor. So you want, when you're doing something, you always want a variety of textures. So we've got a bit of a drag dry brush there. We've got these horizontal lines for the pine needles. We've got clumps of the dark areas, and then we've got some of these grasses coming out of them, but in different directions. And it's actually, there we go. And I think I'm going to leave my mushroom there. Oh, actually, sorry. Where I've got a clump, this is the other thing. Where I've got this big clump here, I now need to do a couple of extras just to spread it out. So if I just bring, I'm going to use my rigger brush for this, just so that it's not a definite shape and things. Yeah, that's looking better where it's blending out into the painting. Put a little bit over there. And this is where I get a bit carried away. I'm going to put some up there on the mushrooms and even just drag a little bit. I do like this brush for just a bit of a really irregular textured effect. And then before I start overworking it, I'm going to leave it there.